Hi, my name is Alethea Andera, and I'm going to be talking about the impact of personalities in the workplace and taking a closer examination of integrating conflict management strategy. We all have different personalities that make up who we are as individuals. Companies that can understand the differences in people's personalities can help diffuse unnecessary conflict and create productive conflict instead, while increasing employee productivity and job satisfaction and lead to effective communication within their organization. Recognizing that employees flourish in a variety of environments or job placements based off their personalities can help companies utilize their employees to the fullest of their potential. Employees that are accepted and understood can quickly become a core competency for companies, giving them a competitive advantage over their competitors. Appler, Toisvold, and Law state that teams that are confident they can deal with their conflict are likely to work productively. Teams that doubt their conflict management abilities may become demoralized and ineffectual. Teaching managers and employees about different personality traits and conflict management styles will lead to efficient and effective organizations. Throughout this presentation, we're going to be looking at the importance of personality testing, integrating conflict management strategy, and the importance of effective communication. Before psychologists recognize the importance that personality has in people's everyday lives, companies were only utilizing personality assessments to identify psychopathic tendency in potential employees. But once psychologists linked personalities to productivity, showing up to working time, teamwork abilities, effective communicators, etc., employers started seeing the benefits of utilizing personality assessments throughout their organizations. Mull and Haxton actually argue that personality assessments should also be utilized to make people more self-aware of their strengths and weaknesses. By becoming more self-aware of your weaknesses, it gives employees a chance to grow in that area, and it also allows employees to better understand their peers' personalities as well. Researchers Mayer, Loiter, Panter, and Caruso state that people with low personal intelligence are often likely to feel frustrated and misunderstood in their working environments, causing them to engage in potentially risky behaviors. These counterproductive behaviors, such as showing up to work late, unproductivity, stealing, etc., are very costly to companies and could be detrimental in the long run. Personality assessments also assist with finding conflict management strategies to accommodate a variety of different personalities. Conflict is completely unavoidable in all aspects of life, including the workplace. And this is due because of our different personalities, world perspective, thought processes, cultures, etc. Unmanaged conflict can be very costly for companies in ways of lost productivity, absentees, turnover, etc. Lawyer found that U.S. employees spend 2.8 hours per week dealing with conflict, which amounts to approximately 359 billion paid hours. Oftentimes, conflict is handled with either dominant or avoidance conflict management strategies. And this is because these are the two that are most comfortable for individuals in their personal life, and they often bring it over to their working environments. However, they're the most ineffective for many personality styles. Nisa, Nazwa, Hotel, and Holopoto state that organizations that utilize dominant and avoiding management styles suffer from negative work-related outcomes. Because these two often leave employees feeling unsatisfied and like conflict was never resolved, it often has a negative outcome. So it is important for companies to find a conflict management strategy that works for different personalities in order to create efficiency within an organization. Integrating conflict management style is often associated with effective problem solving, openness, and a high concern for self and others. So this conflict management style is really all about finding the best solution for all parties involved. It's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's just finding the best solution. It is also compatible with a variety of different personality types, including extroversion, conscientiousness, openness, and agreeableness. Integrating conflict management style aims to proactively manage conflict. If properly managed, conflict can actually turn into productivity. And a way that it proactively manages conflict is by enforcing shared responsibility, delegation of authority, accountability, ongoing trainings, and feedback. Managers often view conflict as a waste of time because it is so time consuming. So employees' conflict often gets passed from manager to a manager until it hits senior level. And at that point, they are so far removed from the situation, they often have very little value to add to the situation. By making managers responsible for the conflict within their group, it instills a sense of duty that they are responsible for their group and they are expected to handle the conflict within their teams. By delegating the authority of conflict management from entry level all the way up to upper level management, it gives people the ability to feel comfortable with handling conflict. Employees should feel comfortable handling conflict because with either personal or within their teams, because management is not always going to be around to be able to handle conflict when needed. While there are times that managers are going to need to step in, employees should be able to handle conflict within within a group. Integrated conflict management style also holds managers accountable for dealing with conflict within their teams or within the people they are over. It's not enough to say you have a responsibility to handle this conflict. They need to be held accountable to do so. Davey stated, to get productive conflict, you need to create an expectation that there will and should be tension on your team. So if there's an expectation of conflict, then there needs to be a level of accountability to ensure that it is appropriately addressed. Writing conflict management into a manager's job description, having open discussion about conflict with managers, and connecting with employees often will ensure that managers are being held accountable for the conflict that is involved with their team. Providing ongoing trainers for both managers and employees will ensure that all employees understand and are confident with dealing with conflict. Managers need to have an adequate training to not only aid in conflict management, but to confidently train subordinates in how to resolve interpersonal and team conflict. Lupus found that everyone deals with conflict differently, so you must know the rewards and risks of conflict resolution within boundaries of each of your employees. Understanding how to effectively deal with conflict with each employee is essential to increase productivity within teams and to get everybody on the same page. If employees and managers are inadequately equipped to deal with conflict, it will lead to tension, loss of productivity, and lower job satisfaction. Managers should also be provided feedback on how they're doing with handling conflict. Providing employees a chance to give feedback on whether or not they believe conflict is being effectively managed will allow employees to voice their concerns. Yang stated, while justice lies in the eye of the beholder, people respond to what they perceive, not necessarily what is objectively real. By allowing employees to voice their concerns, it gives them a feeling that they are involved in the conflict resolution process, and thus they feel that they are being adequately taken care of. And this can be done with surveys and just creating a safe environment that they feel comfortable in sharing their concerns and suggestions for management. Another important aspect of conflict management is communication. Poor communication can actually lead to conflict and unproductivity. It is important to know how to effectively communicate with one another. McQuarrie stated, poor communication is frustrating in the workplace and can lead to poor performance, lack of teamwork, low morale, and reduced profit. So training people on how to effectively communicate with one another can actually avoid a lot of unnecessary conflict and turn differences into productive conflict. This can be done by shifting a conversation structure from a discussion to a dialogue. Discussion is what most of us are more comfortable with. It's what we're most utilize in our everyday life. But Bolan describes discussion that has a ping pong game going back and forth until there is a winner, somebody with the best solution. However, this is not necessarily the best way to go about having a conversation about differing opinions, because it leaves somebody feeling like they lost. Having a dialogue aims to create a deeper understanding of everybody's perspective and comes up with the best solution for all parties involved. It removes those basic assumptions that we all have, and we have all been gathering throughout our lives just based off of our personality, life experiences, backgrounds, etc. And it removes all of those so that we can gain a deeper understanding of the other person's perspective, and it allows for openness and a free-flowing conversation. So the methodology for this study was a qualitative study that used primarily peer-reviewed articles. For future research opportunities, it would be interesting to conduct a two-part study. The first part, organization would complete a personality assessment on all employees and managers and allow the company to run completely unchanged. They would then analyze the conflict management strategies being utilized, how employees are responding to them, and monitor productivity levels as a baseline. For the second part of the study, they would conduct trainings for all employees and managers on personalities, integrating conflict management strategy, and how to effectively communicate. They would then go and research and review the same things. How were employees responsive to integrating conflict management strategy? What were the productivity levels in compared to the first study? They could also examine things such as differences in team efficacy, interpersonal relationships, responses to conflict, and overall productivity levels. It is important to understand personalities and complete personality assessments within the organization to help the organization flow in a conducive manner. It also allows for people to understand one another and be respectful of peers' differences. The most utilized conflict management strategies are dominant and avoidance. However, they often leave employees feeling unsatisfied with the outcome of the conflict resolution, or that there was no conflict resolution put in place. By implementing and integrating conflict management strategy, it allows managers to proactively handle conflict and change conflict from being harmful into productive, allowing for innovative ideas to be shared and differences to be accepted. And they do this through shared responsibility, delegation, accountability, ongoing trainings, and feedback within the management system and for employees. It is also important to teach managers and employees how to effectively communicate. By switching from a discussion to a dialogue, it can create an environment that allows all employees to feel comfortable sharing their ideas without the fear of being shut down or judged. It is my recommendation that personality assessments should be given to all employees and managers. Gaining a better understanding of your employees can benefit in so many different areas, not only in conflict management, but in different job placements that really allows companies to fully utilize all of their employees. There should also be ongoing trainings on personalities, integrating conflict management strategy, and effective communication for all levels of employees. Making sure that everybody is on the same page and given the proper tools to handle conflict as it comes up and to recognize their own personal weaknesses and strengths will only benefit a company and create a more productive environment. Changing the communication style from discussion to dialogue can really bring in new and innovative ideas and a deeper understanding of one another. And they can do this in a variety of ways, but for an example, one of the most easiest ways to do it would be in, during meetings that really need that employee feedback, allowing for an environment that allows more introverted individuals to feel free and open and safe to share their ideas without being judged or shut down, and allowing extroverts to take a minute, sit back, listen to other people's thoughts, and gain a deeper understanding without creating an environment of somebody must win, and creating an environment of if we all win if it's the best idea. They also need to hold managers accountable for managing conflict within their team. And they can do this by having mandatory meetings to check in and provide constructive feedback. Um, if something isn't working, then it needs to be addressed, because that's how things get better. That's how teams work more efficiently. So having these meetings, allowing for that employee feedback, that manager feedback, will help come up with a conflict management strategy that will be conducive for multiple personalities. And that is what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you learned something and enjoyed.